can't be alone here. I can't be the only one who feels like I'm going nowhere. Just wishing somehow this dream will carry me. And I'll swear just one last time. They say the world is yours, so I'ma make it mine. 'Cause nothing is stopping you. You can set the world on fire. Nothing is stopping you. And if I go out, I'll go out screaming. Seeing you was so bittersweet, I almost died. My heart jumped, but I kept screaming why. And I almost thought that I could change the past. And I almost, but that never really lasts. And I'm shy. Oh baby, I'm shy. But I'm not. Whatever you wanted, forever just wanted you.
I don't know, I'm kind of thinking it's the other way around. You know, like, the moment seizes us.
And I'll only say this one time, your headlines won't get none of my time. Yeah, I'm lying, 'cause I still can't find out why I'm so divided. Replay those few days over, somehow I'll find it somewhere in your words when you land on my shoulder. I might act distant, but I swear it's not over. I don't wanna hear it, but I gotta know. Yeah, I just gotta know. Is there a reason? Do you care if I'm still breathing, or am I insane to thinking we could've made it? Oh baby, we could've made it. Oh baby, I'm shy. But I'm not. Whatever you wanted, forever just wanted.
your bigger plan. So lost in the moment, I couldn't get past the here and now. But in the hourglass, I am just one grain of sand. But there is so much more than we are living for. You are that bigger picture, and you are that bigger plan. 'Cause you are the greatest thing in the world, and I'll chase you until I hit the dirt. Yeah, so lost in my own little world, so blind and so nearsighted. I couldn't see past my own two hands. Oh, but you gave me a vision, so I could see eternity. Your bigger picture, your bigger plan. Your bigger picture. Your bigger picture. Your bigger picture. Your bigger picture. I'm the king of my own land. Facing tempest and dust, I'll fight until the end. Creatures of my dreams raise up and dance with me. Now and forever, I'm your
Okay, I am a little bit nervous here. I didn't think I would be. but I built this up a little bit, I know. I'm just so excited. I haven't slept in days. I feel like my head and heart are just always racing. But, you know, I think that I've failed so hard in the past, and I've had all these ideas of like these ultimate things that I'd always love to do. And it seems to be a culmination of like all of those things for me. And I think maybe for you guys, the best part about it, I think, is that it's just an extension of what everyone here everyone that I'm talking to is doing at a really high level. So I made up a couple of things. I don't know if you can even read this, but I figured it'd help me go through it, because this is basically going to be a presentation on systemization, and I figured I was going to call all you guys. I figured that probably wasn't the best use of my time. So let's go here. So anyways, just in case for everybody about me, I know all you guys, but whatever. Went to Villanova, got a master's in engineering, structural and civil engineering. Then I went to work for a general contractor. It was probably the top general contractor in New York City, doing a lot of interior renovations and office spaces, things that they were just, as far as, I remember when I went in there, the guy sat me down and I didn't know what he meant. And he goes, and that guy I came to learn was a cancer of the company, so we don't need people like that. But I came to learn that, he sat me down, I came to learn that he was horrible anyways. But he said to me, he goes, Structure-Tone is a machine. They have every single piece of their business is systemized. And I had no idea like what that meant, but I kind of did, but I didn't know what it meant until about 3 days ago. So I was running multi-million-dollar projects, from Macy's that was running in Herald Square, occupied store, 3 shifts a day, so 24 hours a day. There were people that hadn't seen their families in like 72 days straight. So it was crazy, but it forced me to work on a lot of skills, and it got me a great base. So, and when I tell people that I worked at Structure-Tone, they're like, they look at me totally differently. Like I look like a young kid to them, and then all of a sudden I'm like this new guy that they can really let's do some business with. So, and I was walking with a general contractor today, and it was great to be able to talk to him and be like, we're just spitballing and we're saying things that the average layperson wouldn't know. And to me, that's so cool, because I love construction. Okay. So, yes. So that company was $1 billion company. So they had this great system of how they were doing everything. They had so many employees or whatever. They were worldwide. And of course, they're going to have somebody, they're going to pay a lot of money to buy a system to make their business work, right? But the average person like myself and a lot of business owners in the low level to mid-level range don't have that kind of money to do that. So I worked for about 6 years. It was a great company. Like I said, it was like my reach company, and it was a great experience, great people. It was something lacking. I was unfulfilled. I just felt an emptiness. I mean, when I first got there, I'm like, I'm going to work here forever, and I'm going to let my dad down because he thought I was going to be self-employed, and then I realized a couple years into it that I was not going to be working there for very long. So I started my own paint company, Boom Painting, which was a disaster. Forced me into a lot of but a lot of success came from that. Alright, so now, because of that, I was at a low point, and God had a plan, and one day Painting called me, and it was interesting because at the beginning of starting my business, I was modeling a lot of the stuff that WOW was doing, because I loved what their culture was. I loved how 1-800-GOT-JUNK was started. I'm like, this guy is a genius. I want to be like him. And when you meet the guy that runs this place, it's like, this is just a normal guy. Like this guy is just a normal dude. And it's hard to see, but it's awesome to think about, what the potential is, and that's what I want to, become, somebody like that. And so anyways, with WOW, I just saw like the more that I looked at it when I was looking at it, I didn't want to give up my business, but the more that I looked at it, the more I was like, this just makes more and more and more sense. And I met Jay, my not yet partner, but technically as it stands right now, Wow and Painting, I am running the show 100%. Jay stepped away from the business, so we're restructuring some things. But hopefully we can have all that figured out. But anyways, in the present day, so right now we're working on a bunch of different systems for our business, and we're thinking about how can we be the best business that we can be. And we have some slow time, so we didn't want to let this time go to waste. And I'm out for my whole career in painting, since I started, was I had the personality, I had the creativity, I had all the documents to put in the bid package. I came from this background. I knew the deal. I knew how to talk the talk. I knew everything, but I couldn't be successful. And I think a lot of it came down to a certain reason I couldn't be successful, which we'll get into. But anyways, it was, to this day, even with WOW, with really great people and a whole lot of potential, and you have financial backing that I didn't have, we still are struggling and we're bleeding everywhere at all levels of our business. And I'm just like, I'm sitting there, it just drives me crazy because I didn't know where it was, I didn't know, I'm like, I knew we were bleeding, but I didn't know where and how or exactly where or how to quantify it. Then it was driving me crazy. So I just started working on this thing to do our estimates, and because I just felt like we were inconsistent. One day I would price a job and it would be one price, the next day I'd price a job and it would be another price, and then I wouldn't know anything even about the job. So Jay, I know Jay's a big critic, but I love that about him, and Jay, I know this is going to get a little crazy, but we talked vision board that day, and you said go as big as you want. So I'm just going to throw it out there, and we'll see what happens, okay? And I'm just putting a note to myself just to calm down because I feel like I'm going to get crazy. So I just want to give you guys a picture of, in 2015, I started with Wow One Day Painting, and we basically doubled our revenue in 1 year. And we were one of the top franchises in the country, and people were like, these guys are great, come, we want you to help other franchises and be a model. And to me, I'm thinking about it, I'm like, we are doing some good things, right? But we're a mess. Like, we're all, and I just know from my life that what I'm doing is like, it just makes no sense. When you start thinking about it, my path throughout the day is just, it could happen right here, on this island. As long as I get the green screen thing to work, then there'll be an island back here, or something. So basically, this is a process, and you probably can't even read it. But basically, these are all the steps, as far as our business in painting, as a contractor, where, from estimate to schedule to collecting the check, right? So, these are all the steps that have to take place, or these are actions that have to take place by a person in our company. So a direct action where you have to be actually doing something. So I'll just take you through this really quick just so you can get a little breakdown about what we do. So when we have the estimate is scheduled, after that we're going to schedule this and we're going to meet the customer, and we have no system to what we're doing. We're just kind of by experience, hey, we're going to be the best service ever, we're trying to like disrupt the industry, which, Jay, we are gonna do that, but not how we thought. And we're just selling service, and we're gonna be the best, and you're gonna love us, and all this. But there was no plan to that. It was just that me and Jay were able to. We had the people skills to be able to get by. If we were a regular contractor that couldn't talk, there's no shot that we're getting any of these jobs at our pricing, which was the pricing was pretty much a guess, anyways. So, anyways. I'm gonna go through, Jay, how I would do a proposal, because I just feel like it was kind of a good method, because it allowed me to be pretty complete as far as the job goes, and I just know that system step by step by step. And yours is probably a little bit faster, but so anyways, I would go meet the customer. Then I would walk the job. I would write notes in a notebook with a pen, and then I would take pictures. So I would write the notes, what do you want to paint here, every single surface, and then I would write I would take pictures of the whole room, of a panorama. And sometimes I would be talking to the customer and I would forget, and I'd be like, and then I would get back, and then we have this next, we'll get to that. So, and then we have this next thing where I am going to go home, I'm going to sit down to enter this estimate into a separate system that is very hard to access on a mobile device in order to input data. It makes no sense. So, anyways, I'm going to sit down and review those pictures. So basically what I have to do is, I have to open my notebook, I have to open my computer, I have to pull up a separate document here, and then I have to take my phone out, look at my pictures and say, alright, this looks like, it looks like the window is going to be 2 feet, so that looks like you could fit 4 windows in that space. So that should be like another 2 times 4 is 8, and then the ceiling height looks about a door size. It's like, and it caused me to have to think. I had to think. So if I had a hard day, it was 4 o'clock, 5 o'clock, I would maybe procrastinate that to think, oh, I'll get it till tomorrow. And then tomorrow gets crazy, and the next day comes. And then the proposal isn't going to get done. And then the next day comes. And so that thinking created this, just this subconscious level of procrastination from doing some of these things that I really had to do that could service our customers at a higher level. At a level that most people aren't serving, even at like a 3-day window, and with the service we're giving them, they'll probably have the patience, but it's not the right way to do it. So, and then after I read up the proposal, which would take me forever, which costs so much time, I would have to attach 6 attachments. So we want to show them like with a big package. We want to show them the insurance. We want to show them the warranty or whatever it is, the testimonials. Go out, select, attach. Go out, select, attach. And yes, we figured out a fast way to do that. We attach them all. But at first, we're attaching a PDF document, one Word document, an Excel document. What? First of all, no one's even going to look at it. There's no value to it at all because only the person going to look at it is they're only going to what they need. And they don't even look at that shit. Sorry. Okay. So anyway, so I send them the bid and the job is sold. From that point, we have all these steps. I'm just going to read them off to you, okay? I'm going to call the customer to repeat review, like what Jay already did the job, because our system is broken and I don't even know what's on the job because me and Jay haven't talked, but I'm supposed to call the customer so it doesn't go past a day, and everything's broken. We never have a signed contract. We might have the email saying, hey, you're going to do the work, which in these days, I'll give you as a signed contract. It's contractual, but I think that a signed contract is a better way to go. You're not going to have a lawyer that's going to say, hey, or an accountant that's going to say, hey, get me that signature later. Just send me an email. I don't need your signature on the paper with a real pen. It gets dicey in there. Okay, so then I'm gonna schedule the call consult. I'm gonna find a time that works for us. Then after the call consult, I'm gonna go get the samples. I'm gonna buy the samples. I'm gonna go back to the house and I'm gonna apply the samples. If she doesn't like the samples, I have to go get more samples. I'm gonna go back to the house and apply the samples again and give her my opinion, which is not expert. Then I'm gonna have to call the subcontractor in order to schedule the job to make sure that he can do it. And I'm gonna have to probably negotiate with him because I don't know if our price is good because we guessed on it pretty much. All right, and then we have the subcontractor work order. So there was work orders, but they were never sent out because it was so difficult. You had to go out separately, attach it in an email, or print it yourself, bring it to the job site. It was just, it's so inefficient. Then I have to actually schedule the job with the subcontractor, order the paint, I have to go pick up the paint. If there's a mess up, then I have to go back to the store and fix the paint, call the store. If they don't have the paint, I gotta call another store. If they don't have the paint, I call another store. If they don't, and it just goes round and round and round. And then if I say, hey, finally got someone to do it and it's a delivery, but now they mess up delivery. Because someone didn't hear me because we broke up over the bad service. So then I'm gonna either drop the paint off, and most times when I drop the paint off, they say, hey, oh, by the way, can you go grab me this, this, and this? It's like, how did we not know that? So now, in addition, these are other things that I just couldn't even fit them on all our steps. So, meanwhile, I might have to go to an estimate as well in the middle of this day. All right, so now I have to now, because our systems aren't broken and our work orders don't really work very well, I'm gonna have to go walk the subcontractor through the scope, okay, which was already done by Jay at the beginning of the job. So now Jay has walked the scope. Now I have reviewed the scope. The customer who already reviewed the scope was Jay. So I would have customers call me sometimes and be like, hey, or now it's with the Apple Watch, hey, didn't I already do that with Jay? And it's me like trying to figure out something to say, oh yeah, but our service, blah, all this bullshit. There was no system. And I thought to myself that, oh, we're just like so great at sales, like we're just gonna sell everything and like whatever. No, we're not. Because we're not landing as many jobs as we should. Hold on, John. Okay, so, confirm scope. Oh, and then I'm gonna have to go to the job. Not only am I gonna go to the job, I'm bringing the paint there. I'm gonna have to take the actual cans, and then I'm gonna have to take those cans and walk them through the house to make sure that I put them in the right rooms. Because if I don't do that, someone's gonna say like, oh, well, this looks kind of like all the other colors, and we put all the paint in the other room, and there's 2 left, so they go in here. We don't know to check. Why would we check the numbers? Who cares? Matt wasn't here, whatever. That actually happened, and we're buying, oh, we gotta go to the store, we look like assholes, the customer is the one that's saying, hey, that doesn't look like the right color. We're going from blowing these people away to now making a dumbass mistake that is 100% avoidable. Calm down, okay. I'm trying to go as fast as I can, guys. Like I said, like imagine if I called you on this. Okay. So anyways, now this is what a year is going to look like in 2016. Okay, wait. Stand by. In 2016. Basically, I broke down I was pissed, and I was pissed about our estimating. I'm like, at the estimate level for subcontract, for a trade, okay, whether it's an electrician, a cleaner, a lint, anything in the service industry, not anything in the service industry, anything in the contractor, like, you know what I mean. Anything in that service can be. I totally lost my train of thought. Oh, so in 2016, this is what we're going to do in 2000, okay, all right. So this is what we're looking to do in 2016. Basically, when we slowed down a little bit, and we had a template from our franchise for takeoffs, and I just was like, I was so sick of us just gunslinging at these jobs, and a customer calling me saying, hey, wow, you're really expensive, and maybe they're just one of those people that doesn't know what it costs to paint, like if you want to do it at a professional expert level. But I think that at times those people might be right, because I'm in my head thinking like, I don't know, I guessed, man, how many about, you know, it was different every time I did it, every time, and I could not figure out how to be successful. So I'm like, you know what, I'm going to go back to scratch, and I'm going to make a takeoff sheet. Because the takeoff sheet for any trade in the industry is the basis of everything that makes that company successful. Well, other than your sales experience, your people, and your marketing. So those are 3 separate entities that you got to think as separate things. So if you're a business, period, you have to have good people, you have to have good people, you have to have good sales skills, and you have to be able to market. Okay, so those 3 things. So if you can do those 3, and if you can't do those 3 in any business, you're not going to be successful whether you have a system or not have a system. Well, I shouldn't say that. If you have a system, you still could have some success. But if you did those other 3 things, or you made sure you had all those other 3 things in place, each one of those would help you be so much more successful with the system that you had in place. So I just started writing this thing on paper, and I'm like, I had been looking into estimating software since I had my business. When I had my business, I was thinking big. I'm like, I'm gonna have a warehouse with these couches. There's gonna be a spray wall with my logo. It's gonna be like, we're gonna have a big garage door that opens, a hangout thing. We're gonna have a classroom. It's gonna be crazy. But you know, I had these big ideas and I wanted to do that. I wanted to do that with systems and being accurate and doing it in I didn't really know what the systems part was. I didn't understand it. But I wanted to be as accurate as I could, as best that I knew. But I didn't know. So I messed up. So I started developing this thing that worked. And I went in and I looked at all this estimating software. I've always looked at it. I tried some for my business, especially just for painting. So like, let's start there, just for painting, just for what I needed, no one else. So there's a lot of stuff out there for multiple, like if you're a contractor in general, there's stuff. But for painters, there wasn't much stuff out there that really had functionality that I could mess around with and make it work to how I wanted it to work. So I just made a takeoff sheet, and I could never figure out the electronics. So I'm like, I just made one takeoff sheet, and we started using it. It was like we were basing it off of national painting guidelines from the Painting and Decorating Contractors of America. So basically what that says is, this is nationwide, this is pretty much what people are doing. Some people are charging more because they can get more. Any painter I ever talked to or contractor I was like, that is successful, the first thing they say is, charge more. They don't even ask me what I charge, they say charge more. So ultimately, but we don't do that. We're going across the board so we can be as competitive as possible, but still make our margins. So I wanted to figure out, could we make our estimate process something that was automatic, where I could take Shay, my wife, and say, Shay, I want you to go estimate this whole apartment. I'm going to brief you a little bit on the paint, a little bit on the wall. Like, hey, look, if the wall's messed up, you know, mark it how I tell you to mark it in the thing that I made for you, okay? So, and if I briefed her on the software that I made, or not the software, but this simple-ass thing that I made, it was so easy. But I haven't seen it, and no one else has seen it. I mean, it's out there, but whatever. So, I could send Shay into a full house. And I know that if she kind of knew how to use the thing that I made, which is very user-friendly, that she would be able to come out of that house with not only a customer that thinks she knows what she's talking about, and it's like, wow, this experience has been very smooth. They were asking me all the right questions. I don't even know how they did that. And then she would come out with a proposal, and she would be able to present the customer with a proposal like, hey, your paint is going to cost this much, the material's going to be this much, this is how long it's going to take, this is when we can do it, your guy's going to be this is how many guys, it's like, everything's done. And so then Shay would leave, right? And I send Shay because I'm busy. Jay doesn't know. Shay, go in, I can't do it because my leg hurts, go in and do this, I'm going to tell you how to do it. Shay could sell that job. And then, if that lady had her colors picked out, so when you leave a paint job, an estimate process, you usually don't have the paint colors. So that's standard, pretty much. I mean, you can't really expect a customer to do that. Sometimes they need to know, whatever. But if they do, like today, I went into a real-world testing environment with this system that I built. And now I've had 4 perfect estimates in a row. We're talking like, these aren't easy estimates either. These are like full houses where they're like, I want to paint this, but not that, and these doors are different than those doors, and I want one coat on this, but not on that, but then this one has a skim coat over here. Like, crazy. And it was just like it was feeding my ego a little bit. Well, not my ego. It was confirming what, like, this hard-ass work that I was putting in that actually worked. So, that was a good thing, okay? So I've had 4 estimates in a row that have just gone perfectly, almost. And it was like, almost like I was predicting what this customer was going to say next. It was amazing. Like and the confidence that you have is unbelievable. So if I send Shay in there, right? So we're still back at this job. When Shay left that house, if she got the electronic signature right on the pad, and she checked hey, we won the job, check this, let's put it to Facebook, and add the picture that you just took, and just say, hey, just won this job, here's some before pics, with one touch of a button. Okay, so she's done that now for me, thank you, Shay. And now she's also ordered the paint, because she just sent it, because it automatically got generated, because we did it during the estimate, in like 2 seconds. And then, after that, she's made the work order. So now I can give the work. I just say, hey, send to my workers, right? My employees or some contractors, whoever's doing work. They look at that and they say, oh, interesting. This has every single surface in every single room listed out, checked out, and exactly how much time I need to take on it, exactly how much paint it is, and exactly what colors go where. I mean, what? And now we went even further, and we said, hey, how can we do this? I'm like, this is going to be, how can we do this even further, right? So I decided that, shoot. I decided that instead of, man, this is going all off target here. Oh, I was, so usually I'm doing, so I wanted to simplify even further than just to take off and having all these things done, because there's other steps that I need to take care of. So I didn't want to have to call, I had the paint order, but I didn't want to call everybody, all the stores, and if there's a problem and all these things happen and this goes wrong, and I'm the one dealing with all the problems. I wanted to talk to one person who would talk to the stores, find out the closest store that our jobs were near, and they would take care of all the problems to make sure that the paint got there. And if it couldn't get there, they would let me know. So now I don't have to do all the problems and say, hey, you do the paint thing. I don't even want to do it. You do it. I'm going to go work on building the business. And then I also went down a separate further and said, hey, I don't like doing this process where I'm sitting and doing the samples and back and forth. Sometimes you give customers like, hey, yeah, samples, sure, do as many as you want. Like, all 3 in a room usually, but then people come back with these lists that are like, are you kidding me? And so we would come back with these boxes of like 50 samples, put them on the wall. I don't like that. We're going to go back. It's like out of control. So now, with a click of the button during the takeoff process, we can say, hey, would you like to use a designer? She can help you sit down with color. She'll bring the samples for you. She's a woman. She can work on window treatments. Oh, you just moved in? She can help you with everything. Flooring, anything you want. $100. For $100, you can have that. Click of a button, all that color stuff, she handles not only going to the job and all that stuff, she automatically gets us. Now she's calling the customer from, hey, we won the job, and now she can also go into the same document, the living document, say, oh, looks like we're painting the living room, walls, ceiling, and just all she has to do is all right, we're done. And then that automatically goes, she brings back to a store and orders the paint. I mean, it goes on and on. It gets like, so the other day, when I was just sitting there after thinking about this, and I realized that I was trying to figure out where we were bleeding, and it was at every single level. Every level of our business we're bleeding. And if we were bleeding at a franchise that has been around for 25 years, that means that if we're bleeding, it's a pretty successful, we're doing things pretty good, that means that nationwide they're bleeding. Not only are they bleeding, but there's probably franchises out there that are just gushing blood everywhere. I don't know if it's with the junk thing, they're separate business, but as far as the painting goes, I know there's got to be painters out there that are, and I know there are franchises out there that are gushing blood everywhere because they have no systems and they don't even know where they are because they don't, I don't know. I don't know. I don't even know how I figured it out. But anyways, you can see how now there's no lines. You meet the customer. You do the takeoff. You have a systemized takeoff. You have a systemized. So Jay goes in and now instead of just calling the customer and shooting the shit, he has an actual process of how he's going to get that customer to sell. And then I come in after the job is sold. I have a systemized process of how I'm going to get the job sold. The other day, a customer from a while ago was in order asking me the questions that I had on my template already. I was like, boom, 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 boom. I was like, I felt like it was predicting the future. It just confirmed everything in every estimate I've done since, which has only been 4. But I had the one that came in at the end, so, whatever. So that it just keeps confirming all these things about that this system actually works. And then I show the paint stores and national reps for Sherwin-Williams, and they're like, this is going to make our lives so much easier. I know it's a little bit more work for us, but it's going to make our lives so much easier. So anyways, this is how simplified. So technically, this wouldn't happen, but technically, Jay goes to the job, he sells the job. From my couch, I know exactly what happened on the job. I can set up the work order the paint, do the color consultation. All I would have to do was pretty much ask the customer if they need coffee, and then I would have to bring the flowers over, and I would have to write the thank you card. Bring lunch to the guys, and then I would be obviously building the business, but essentially, I wouldn't have to even leave my apartment. Now obviously that wouldn't happen. There's going to be things that I can't predict, but the foundation is there, I think, and I think it's good. Okay. So anyways, here's just an idea of I thought of if this can work for me, and I had a guy come to me about an educational product he had that was I want to sell this guy out. Okay, it was a selling product, and which was a great product. This guy's the man, and he is so genuine, and he's an awesome painter, and he wanted to get in the educational sector, and I thought, and he said, he gave me the sales package, and I thought he was already packaged it. This is good, and I thought about it, and I said, you know what? I had all that. I had all that with my business. I had a master's degree in engineering. I had great people skills, great sales skills. I had a background in general construction. It was one trade I was running, and I couldn't figure it out. I couldn't figure it out until now. And I called him. I said, hey, I think that what your program is lacking is, I think it's lacking the estimate side, dude. I think it's lacking what I have, exactly what I have. You already built, pretty much, in a very simple fashion that you could offer for. If I was able to systemize my business at Boom, which wasn't in the plan, that's fine. Had to be dragged through the mud. I get it for this. But if I had systemized it like that, it would have, and I had somewhat gotten the leads, and I had gotten some decent people, and I had done a better job of that part, which is something they have to do anyways. I just think it would have been hard to fail. I failed not because of my management skills or my leadership skills or anything like that, or my people skills. I failed because I didn't know how to price jobs. I didn't know how much paint do we need. I didn't take things down to a science. Okay, I know that in this room, we're going to paint this room, and I know that in that corner, I need a piece of sandpaper to sand that patch that lady was talking about. And I know that on this job, when we start the job, it's going to be on site, because I know that I have it all tracked and everything is down to a science, because we're going to be so efficient, and that's how we're going to be the most profitable. And that's how the most people are going to be the most happy. Calm down. Okay, so, anyways, these are the tricks. So, who's somebody that can use this? And I think, to me, it's people in the trades. People, to me, in the trades are, yes, there's some guys that are dishonest. Part of me thinks that there's some guys that are dishonest. Part of me thinks that some guys get in a really bad spot because they think they're going to be successful, and they're a leader, and they're going to be awesome, and I'm going to make this money for my family, and I'm a great painter, I'm a great electrician, and you're just not. You're not. If you don't know how to do business, you're not going to be successful. Period. And if you don't vote, maybe you'll be successful, but barely successful. You're not going to get what you're hoping to get out of it. You're going to go to war, and it sucks. Okay. So, but I think these are the kind of people that we're looking for, the trades. They're honest people. I think that if someone wants to start a business, I don't understand the dishonest part. I would think that the most people, at least the people we're looking for, and I know they're out there, are the people that are driven, that want to start a business, and I'm going to have fulfillment, and this is what I'm going to be great, I'm going to run this. And so imagine yourself thinking about, for example, when we have the conversation, I'm going to do, you get all excited because you have these things about I'm going to go be ambitious, I'm going to have fulfillment, and then you get into it and you're like, oh my God, this is so much harder than I thought. And so, but you think about the people that want to do that. I would think that their trades, at least for the trades, those are the people we're looking for, they're honest people, they're driven. We're looking for the low to mid-level, blue collar to above average guy, but they're ambitious. But however, we're looking for the people, they have these qualities, right? Do they have the sales qualities? Do they have the marketing qualities? Do they have the systemization? They might have this. Me and Jay have this. We have the marketing, but we don't have the systemization. And guess what? We were bleeding everywhere. We were like Band-Aid everywhere, all the time. And it was so frustrating. And listen, we've done a lot of great things. We really have. We've learned a lot, but we were bleeding everywhere, at all levels. So anyways, I'm just thinking, these are some of the trades: paint, electrician, plumbing, HVAC, flooring, tile, millwork, everything about any trade that you've ever dealt with in your house, any trade you've seen on HGTV, any of those guys that are flipping houses and doing all that stuff, and don't laugh, Slick, it's coming, doing all those houses, and so I'm thinking to myself, I think it's probably, and I'm out there every day talking to people, you're probably looking at 85 to 90% of your small to mid-level contractors have no clue what they're doing. They might be getting by in skill and pure experience, but they're not doing it unless they're charging way too much. And a lot of people are failing. Let's just put it that way. Okay, there are people that do it, but a lot of people are failing. Okay. So anyways, so you look at all these trades, and I know I missed some. So now, let's look at the market that those trades are into. All right? We're talking about U.S. and Canada, okay? So, if you think about it, Jay and I are in Westchester County, and we're in Fairfield County, Connecticut, right? So, and for a painter, that's a big, big territory, and it's a very affluent territory. So, you know, for us, Jay moved. He sold his house to start this business. This dude is Jay. We're gonna get this thing figured out. Okay. So if you think about it, all these markets here, I mean, just this little square is like 9 million markets, right? No, markets. But it's just where people do business as trades in small business and service in the service industry, okay? So if you look at that and you think, you know, how can we tap a market that's big, or how is it not tapped yet? And I just think that right now, currently, I think that some people are doing it right. I do. I think that most of them are going to be your more mature companies that are really doing well. They've been around for a long time. My dad had the company, and I always love hearing when the young guy had it, when you see that young guy that's like the business owner and he's walking around like he's just like, and then you find out that his dad started the company. It always makes me feel so much better about myself. At least it made me feel better about myself when I like wasn't doing anything and I was like want to search it. So if you look at U.S. and Canada, I mean, you guys are talking about a lot of markets. I mean, that's basically what I'm trying to say here. All right. Okay. So here's where we're going to start talking about dollars. So for me, this is a mess. Oh my God. I couldn't even like think. I was like switching markers. That's why it's not even because I wanted this red. It's because I couldn't. This ran out of ink, or it dried up. So I just wanted to say, guys, before I know you guys enough that I can be honest here and I can be totally transparent. The number one thing I want to say here is that, you know, maybe this idea sucks. I don't know. And I know you're going to hear me say that like probably a million times because I'm so nervous that I'm building this up and it's going to suck. But anyways, I talked to one of my key advisors. He didn't shoot me down. So, but I just want to say, like, if this gets big, you know, before this step here, you know, I think we should be humble. I think that that's very, very important, and I don't want it to be something that gets to our heads because we're gonna, you know, if you think this is a good idea, we're gonna get very excited, very fast, and if it does grow, I think it could grow virally. I think, and maybe I'm crazy, I feel like the need is so strong that it's like it would be, if you could somehow, George, if we could, and Jay, figure out a way to brand and market to this bracket of people who are like a little bit more experienced, like even the 50-year-old guys who are like, I've been around the block, like I've done it, you know, I don't need your stupid shit. But we want to entice him by getting the other contractors and showing their success. And to be honest, and I know you guys haven't seen the system or anything, if I give you my system, and say we add a whole bunch of other pieces, but just for these trades, right? Just for these trades, we give them my system. My system as it is now is worth about $5,000. Minimum. Maybe less. This is my compassionate side. But, you know, it's valuable. If I was a painter, if I saw this, this is life changing. And it happens almost instantly. And what do people buy? They buy results, and they buy them off emotion. Two things I hope both of you guys are seeing right now, or feeling, okay? So number two, if we're gonna do this, I think it has to be the best, most researched, branded, marketed, complete system with the optimal, user-friendly results. Like, I understand we gotta test it, but we can't put something out there that isn't gonna be good. And if it doesn't, if the 45-year-old guy can't use it, that's the electrician that's trying to struggle with his business and he's been struggling for 20 years and now here's his answer. And all we have to do is say, hey, it's kind of like when you get a new cell phone. You gotta figure it out for an hour. You scroll through and you use it and you're like, wow, I teach you for like 30 seconds how to use this thing. You're like, oh my God, not 30 seconds, so very short time. It's literally It's life-changing for somebody in the trades. And I know like some of you guys wouldn't know that, but for me, I've lived it and I've been dragged through the trenches and it sucks. And I know this is game-changing. All right. So number 3. All right. If this is a good idea, then all right, and that system, I don't think there could be, and there's got to be team decisions here, but I don't think there can be any exceptions to that. It has to be user friendly. It has to be complete. It has to be everything. That's what it has to be. It has to be everything. So, can we do that? I know what that is. I know what that is. Everything is. I mean, there's a lot more research to do and things like that, and some work to do. But this is out there. This is easy. This is easy, and it doesn't cost. It would literally cost no money. I mean, a little bit. All right. Okay. So number 3 is we want to help others as best we can without taking a compassionate risk. So there's going to be in this, if we went down this road, there's going to be people that you're going to meet that you're going to want to help. And that's what we want to do. However, we just got to be careful that we don't get too compassionate and we lose our way. And we have Jay and Eric on board, and I don't think, and Thule and Slick, me and Saul are pretty much the only ones like, oh, no, the guy out, this guy's a great guy, and that just, there's got to be a harmony there. Not even a balance, just got to be a harmony, and we just got to figure it out. So, number 5. So I think number 4, if we packaged, say we packaged this systemization thing, right, and we packaged it with like something that was a sales component, and we packaged it with everything else that you guys do. So, we packaged it with a sales component. We packaged it with a branding component. We packaged it with a marketing component. We packaged it with a systemization component. We packaged it with a sales component. And then we packaged it with some other stuff that we're going to talk about in a second. So, basically, I think if we did that, right, not only could we sell the individual pieces, like each of you guys could sell individual pieces of what your expertise is, that would have to be, whatever your piece is, it's going to be awesome, or it's not going anywhere. So, if we had created individual pieces, right, of things you're already doing, like how are you already successful, and how can you be more successful, or how can you be better at what you're already doing, right? So, basically, what that allows us to do is, that allows us to upsell at basically all levels. So, say, it's like, I know you're laughing, say we got a room of people, a room of contractors, and are they out there? Yes. How many can we get in a room? It's going to take time. These people are stubborn, and we gotta get them somehow. George, how do we get them? How do we get these guys excited about changing their life with something that they haven't seen before? It's got to be fresh, it's got to be new, it's got to be something that just hits them right in the face somehow, okay? So, if you think about it, everybody on our team could sell individual options of a system of a product that they built. However, we sell those individually. Now, we have additional upsells, right? So now we have these upsells we're going to get to. However, if you could package them together, and now we could add other kind of things. And this is a little bit personal development-y, a little bit Tony Robbins-y, but we can change people's lives. Period. Okay? So, if you think it's gay, or you think it's, whatever, we could change people's lives. No question. Okay? So, we help ourselves do that. But I think with that business, if we upsell that, okay, I think that's probably a multi-million-dollar business. Without even with not even trying multi-million-dollar business. We're talking multi-million dollars. Just doing that. Even if we're selling it at $5,000 a clip, if it's $3,000 a clip, and we can get people really believing in on it, right? And oh, man, I'm gonna go crazy places here, but I think that the need is there. The need is there. Can we bring this to them? And do you guys think that, from what I've showed you, that that's a good idea? So, that's big business. But now that we're done talking about the small talk, now we're gonna get started. Okay, so fasten your seatbelts, because we're gonna talk about something right now that is, now, in my head, I've never believed more in anything, and it's weird how I feel like everybody, all you guys I've talked to, except for Thule, about specific things, and I feel like everybody, and Eric, but you just told me that today, and it was like, wow, of course that works out. But I just feel like everything is working out so right that, I don't know. But, so here we go, okay? So we have all those systems built, and we're all offering this thing, and we package this thing, and just this alone, which would probably take us to develop it, wouldn't take that much to develop it. It really wouldn't. Maybe the infrastructure, yes, would. But we're not talking like major dollars here at all, and I know that we don't have to spend any of our own money. I know that, okay? So, 6. Okay, so, now, I was talking to my buddy Mike, and I knew that he did something in real estate, but with technology, but he built something in Excel that his whole, the whole unit of his business, which is a very large business, is basically what they do is they go and research all these commercial properties for people that are using them as investments, as they're pooling all these properties together, and basically it's everything I saw in that movie. So, and what I've learned from The Big Short, and what I've kind of heard is that in real estate, and I don't really know much, so this is why this is my idea, and from only of what I know from going to real estate seminars and other seminars and filing for bankruptcy, and so we're still figuring U.S. and Canada all markets. This is typical in real estate, is that it's going to go up and down and everything, but ultimately it's always going to kind of level off, and that's kind of how Slick explained it to me. That's how I think it is. But I think the biggest thing that Mike mentioned to me was that the difference between his street and the next street is like ridiculous. About like I can walk from Mike's backyard to his friend's house, and his friend's house is basically the same house. I mean, it's basically the same house, and the neighborhood doesn't look that different. One street over, and it is way different. So, if that's the case, me and Mike were just thinking, and it's kind of we had this idea of what if, okay, now hold on, before we go there, if right now there's an infrastructure to do built that Mike built, okay, pretty much, which his bosses, when they get hammered, give him credit for, that Mike built, if that works, where they're doing all this research to find better properties where they can avoid problems in huge commercial real estate, the question is then, if we took that back level and we were like, and I said, Mike, is anyone doing this at the residential level? He said, yes, this other company. I left this company that was trying to figure out the residential company, this big ass company, trying to figure out the residential for 3 years, how do we, figure out the problems. And it was such a smaller level that there were so many different levels that it makes it much more difficult. You're not talking about big players, you're talking about smaller type players, and it's just harder communication. But however, there is stuff out there to figure out, like there's the MLS for the realtors, there's stuff out there, there's Zillow, there's stuff out there to figure out what properties are out there, and there's general information, and what information is true, I don't know, okay, but So there's things out there to find out about real estate right now. Right now in the present, how's the market? We have to go right now. And and I thought to myself, like, there's got to be people there that are just like predicting the future. Like, there's got to be people that are saying, here's the trends, here's what we're gonna do, and they're like putting these long-term plans. Like, you have to be doing that, right? Like, you got to be doing. And I'm sure some people are. And Mike said only like really they're talking about like the top people are doing that. And I don't know if that's the case. I trust Mike. He's doing this for his whole life, for 10 years now. Like, if that's the case, that, my friends, is a big deal. So, if we look at real estate and we say, all right, if we're looking at like say 2017 and beyond, right? And we say, all right, instead of looking at our current market, we're going to look at that market. But let's find the markets. Let's figure out a way. How do we figure out a way to predict where real estate is going? So how do we predict a way to know that Mike Street is going to be the more expensive street than Matt Street? How do we figure that out? And if we can figure out a way that, even if it's not perfect, this is the part that's going to be really hard. If it's not perfect, that's okay. But is there something we can build that is comparable or could somehow give us a competitive advantage so that we could find properties that were hopefully, I'm looking at like a lower income property that's maybe it's, I don't know enough. I always think like foreclosures, short sales, they always sound like such good deals. I don't know enough about them, but if a bunch of those are out there, maybe they bring down the value of the neighborhood. Is there a way to figure out where things are trending and then make those areas and be the guys that are first there? Is there a way? I don't know. There's gotta be. There's gotta be. Even if it's not perfect, if we can get a little advantage here and there and there and there. And I think the more that we look, the more we're gonna find. And I think that it's out there, but people are lazy. I think that some people have probably done it. I think I know that people have done some crazy stuff like this. And they have great systems. And can we get to that point? Eric, that's on you, dude. All right. So that's the question. But basically the way I look at it is, if we're able to somehow get ahead of the curve and we can basically figure out this is going to be the expensive area, or at least that we're going to make it the expensive area, then we sell our customers that, so this is, okay. So if we can predict where we're going, if that's kind of our core business, and we're not looking at what's there right now, we're looking at what's in the future, our business never stops. If we can become an industry leader at predicting future real estate trends, finding what's out there, I don't know what it is, but if we could do that, and then here's where we bring it all together, boys and girls. You might need more than a seatbelt for this, okay? If this is a good idea, you might need more than a seatbelt for this one, all right? So, we're talking about that little multi-million dollar business, multi-million dollar business. So here's what I'm thinking. Our leadership team, we've already been over this. Okay. So if we look at this detailed model, we can see that at the top is us, okay? And at the top, I think, is money potential that's like, guys, I've been in this industry, I don't know real estate enough. I know that the need for what we're saying is out there. I don't know markets enough, but I know if what we can do right here is get this to work, you tell me, okay? So here's the idea. So up here we have us at the top of all this, and we have this money with, if you can see that, be humble. Just guys, that's really important. Just remember that. Don't let it, if this is a good idea, don't let that spin out of control, okay? So if we have all the markets up here, say we have Boston, New York, and we're obviously going to start in one market, test the shit out of everything, perfect it in that market, and we're going to, next thing is going to go, I don't know. I hope it is. So we have all these markets, right? And each of these markets, we have all these trades. We have all these trades. Okay? Do you know how many trades that is? Trades that are, they're doing okay. Like to do better. Say 85% of them have nothing in place. So they have something in place. I met an electrician today. Looked like he had his act together. He's got this little app. A free app. It's a good thing. Oh, you do a quote. Can you show me the quote? Oh, I've seen them. I've looked at them. I've researched them. At least for my business. And I've dealt with them on a very high level as far as all the systems that are, not all the systems, but a lot of systems that are out there. And I know, and I've dealt with trades every single day of my life for the last, you get it. Okay, so there's a lot of trades here in a lot of markets. And each trade isn't a big, we're not going after the big guys. We're going after the little guys. Right? So we're going after the little guys. So if we're going after the little guys, that means there's a lot of them. And if a lot of people, right, are getting a system that gives them results overnight. Not a system that says, hey, go back and, I'm always wondering, like, so, all right, I buy this great thing about teach me how to sell, right? And I got all these documents, I got a great bid package, I talk to the customers well. I can't be successful. Like, what is the problem? What if I had a system that I didn't have to have a personality, I didn't have to know much about painting, I'm a guy off the street, and I just, out of nowhere, I want to know how to bid the price of a house, and I want to know it down to a science. And I'm an average smart guy, I work hard, I'm from another country, I came here, I had $16 in my pocket, whatever, right? And you can make that guy have instant results. Instant results, right? What do you think he's going to tell his contractor friend and his contractor friend? And now all of a sudden things start clicking, okay? So we start in one market and we get a couple of guys that are having good results because what we're giving them is going to be amazing. It's already amazing. It's already changed my whole life. I'm talking to customers and I'm just like, I was in a house today and the house is very complicated. So there's beams and paneled walls and all these different surfaces, and I had done 3 perfect estimates in a row. And I'm like, Jay, I text him like, Jay, I don't know if I got 4 in a row in me. And guess what happens? I'm doing it, I'm killing it, I am killing it. And I'm just like, and I'm just scheduling it. Oh, you can schedule the job. How many days? Oh, what's that hours thing? Oh, that's exactly how long your job is going to take. And this is how much paint you need. Oh, you want to save a couple bucks and you pay with a personal check? Oh, well, you can save $200 here. We'll give you a better price on paint. Boom, 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 boom. Done. Another painter walks in. Guy had no shot. He had no shot. It was like UMass going to play Alabama in football. It really was. It was like this guy is walking around. I'm like, oh my God, dude. You might as well just leave. You have no chance of this. Unless, maybe he does. Maybe he comes in and his number is 5,000 less than me because he doesn't know anything. But anyway, so back to this. So these are all the trades, right? And these are all the housing markets that aren't doing so well. These are all the things we just found out because we built this trending app that these are the markets where we need to be. And these are low income, but like mid-level, like the multifamilies, your average person. And you find some foreclosures and maybe have 10 in this market and 10 in this market and 2 in this market and 1 in that market and this market's big. So you have, think about how many houses are turning over in the country right now. In every market. I don't know. But we got to find out, okay? So now, here's the moneymaker. If all these trades, we're helping all these trades in all these markets, right? And now we're investing in all these properties, in all these markets, right? We have all these things, and we're really smart because we have all these systems, and we are committed to excellence, right? What happens now? So now, we say, hey, we have all these houses, and we're looking to flip them, we might hold them. What we're really looking to do is we really take this future market, we're going to basically take over this market, whether we build houses one at a time, we take it slow. We could get to a point, if we were big, where we could, basically, this sounds crazy. I thought of it today. It sounds absolutely crazy, but hear me out, okay? if we went to a really like a neighborhood that was one street over from Mike's, but it was like shit, right? It was like $100 grand a house. There was 10 houses. We bought them all for $100 grand. We went in there because we were ballers. At that point, God blessed us with some serious stuff. And we said, hey, listen, we went to these families and we said, hey, your house is worth $100,000, right? Well, how about this? Your lucky day is today. Because today, we're going to give you $250. Alright, I've had some technical difficulties. I was going to make this like this cool thing in the background and whatever. So, can we get back to this? Right at the peak of my speech, the camera dies. So anyways, so if we're getting these houses and say, and I know that sounds crazy, but if we buy all these 10 houses and we go to this person we say, hey, listen, your house is worth 150 grand. We're going to give you 250 grand. 200 today in cash. You can go buy the house of your dreams now. The house of your dreams. And here's what we're going to do. We're going to go in that market and we're going to say, we're going to knock these houses down. We're going to build our own houses for say we give them 250. Say we build the house for 500,000, depending on the market. So now we're in at 700,000, right? And we got 10 houses, so multiplied by 10, right? And then we end up selling the houses because now the area is better for, I don't know. It's like, I don't know, $1.5 million, 2 million? And are we sitting on the houses? Are we flipping them? I don't know, but all in, if you think about it, if we sit on them and we rent them, right, even these big houses, I'm going to these houses, we were in a $3 million house that was rented. Can we make a way that a big ass house could be rented somehow because our costs are so efficient because we're using our contractors that we gave our systems to because they're the only persons that are approved to do our houses, and we know because we build in the system that they're so efficient that this job is now getting flipped at like ultimate speed, and now Sherwin-Williams, who we already know is giving us shit for free, and basically because we're giving so much work to them, and then all these distributors and vendors, and everyone's like, hey, take all our stuff, like, hey, we're gonna flip 50 houses in your area, give us great deals, we're gonna stock it up, we're gonna put it in, we're gonna flip it, we're gonna sell it, we're gonna do whatever we want. Whoo! So if you see what that brings together, guys, we have income streams at every level here. We're talking about the individual level where you're selling your own products. Now we're talking about these guys really having great success and referring all their friends to make it viral. So now that we have all these people, right? And now we have all these people doing all these work in these houses for us so that we're investing in these houses and all they're doing is like this. They're just shoveling coal into our freight train. But we're like, hey, come on for the ride. All you gotta do is shovel a little coal. Shovel a little coal. We're gonna give you a couple money. We're gonna pay you for it. We're gonna pay you for it. And not only that, we know that every estimate that they do, because they have to be approved contractors that know our system and everything. Now this flip is going to be, listen, we're going to have problems. I know we're going to have problems, but you got to think about it. If you think that most people that are flipping houses, I know in construction, the inconsistencies and the inefficiencies are out of control. They are out of control. And some companies are good. If you have good people, you can kind of slide by. But if you don't have good systems, you're in trouble. So if you think about that, right? You think about how big that is. So if we have all these trades and all these markets, and even though we have a couple houses in each market, and we give the trades, now we're giving our trades all the work for our own houses that we know we're going to run really efficiently. We can do whatever we want with them because they're going to be profitable because we know we have so much research and so much effort into making sure that our product is the best at finding the best stuff. Then I don't, here's where we go, okay? And Jay, this is where I'm saying, this is where it gets crazy. Not money-wise, but don't the money, but I think that there's enough for, I think that there should be enough for a couple people. So, but, what else did I write here? Right, so I already, so here's the bigger scene that I'm seeing that is more of a long-term thing and something that I always had a big goal on, and it's like you're going to laugh because you've heard it before, but I just think it would be cool if we had something like
like Angie's List or something, we had just a group of maybe the people that belong to our thing, and as that grew, it become bigger and viral, and everybody's getting better because everybody wants a system. They're like, wait, you're giving me, they give you instant, your business is automatically better. Like, dude, you gotta see what these guys, they're so cool, and like, this guy George is so good looking, and like, Slick is so funny, Jay is the best, you know, like, so, you know, I can't go through everybody, guys, alright, other stuff. But anyways, if you can see how this could work out with the personalities that we have in place, and the drive, and the passion, and the ambition, can we make this work? And if we can, whoo, look out. And we don't even have to even get started. You gotta think, yes, this is a lot of work, okay? But ultimately, it's us doing what we love on the side because we're so excited to build something and invent something that's gonna give us the fulfillment that we've been looking for so long. And now, the fulfillment that we're gonna get, ultimately, like, the highest level of fulfillment comes from helping other people, okay? So if now we can help, like, can you even imagine how many people we can help at how many levels? Out of control. Out of control. That's how many. If you can see this. If you can't, this is a lot of wasted time. All right. Anyways, so this gets even bigger, okay? So if we have all these subcontractors that are like, it's going viral and everyone's loving it, and you know, people are really starting, and now it's starting to kind of grasp with the market. This thing that we're teaching, people are starting seeing is trending, like, oh, I got another contractor that came in with this expectation sheet or this thing that was so smooth, it went so well, his contract was fair, everything. This guy really knew his stuff. And all this dude is really doing, he's a robot. He's literally a robot that we're making so happy. He's like this. Yeah, yeah, we're done. That's it. They're done. Pick colors. We're done. So, if you go to a bigger level here, okay, and we created this thing with all these contractors, we have this big group of people now that we have in our database, okay? So all these people in our database, we know where they are because we're systemized, and we know where they are to do these jobs and who we... So now, if we get a house here, we know what trades are in that area, and we can say, hey, you want this job? We're gonna just feed you work. We're just gonna feed you work. And we know that because you're using our system, that... Let me back up. We hope that if you're using our system, we have to think that we're going to be teaching the sales side, we're going to be teaching this total package. So this guy, now that he can do the estimate, because if you do the estimate right, okay, if you do the estimate right and that streamlines your whole business, that gives you more time now to work on the part that Sal sold you, the sales aspect, and the part that Jay sold you, the marketing aspect. And then you talk to George. Hey, George, what do you think of my brand? What do you think of my brand? John's painting. Sorry, John. I think you could use some work. Okay, that'll be, think about this, guys. Think about this, okay? And now, if we create a group like that, we could create this thing potentially that's out there, like, you have the Angie's List, like, Super Service Awards, right? But can we make something, can we be that, can we have that much, can we help, no. Can we help that many people, okay, that we could create a group big enough, okay, to create something that is like a Michelin star in the restaurant world? How do we create the Michelin star of contracting? How do we do it? I don't know. That one, leave that to me. I'll figure that out. But it's not going to be easy. This is not going to be easy. But we do know that if they're Michelin approved by us, and they're very strict guidelines, and they want to go through it, and they want to work, and they want to be the best that they can be, and they get approved, and we know that everyone in this house is Michelin star approved contractors, guess what? This house is going to make us a lot of money. And all these guys that we're helping out so much are now just feeding us, okay? And now they're not only feeding us, they're doing just so much more, but we're all helping each other. So I almost feel bad about how much like that could turn into, but everybody's getting it. Everybody's getting it everywhere, at every level. And so if you think about that, okay, the Michelin star, and now we make the Michelin star like the Angie's List thing, but we're at an even higher level, and we have, and this Michelin star thing affects people at so many levels, because if you make that the pinnacle, right, we're talking about the people up there are the people that get the biggest clients. They get the highest end clients. They get the clients they've always dreamed of. Okay? You're walking in the house, and you know what? And you're walking in that house, and you're like, I can't believe I'm in this house, one. And I'm in here because I just bought this thing yesterday. I'm in this house, and I am speaking with the confidence of a beast. And so if you have this Michelin star, now you have these high-end clients calling you, right? And now it's kind of a trickle-down effect. All these Michelin stars are out there, okay? And now everybody's using our system. And our system has saturated a market that is great for us. And to do that, guys, we're talking about, think about it. Think about it. I mean, that's a long way away. Don't worry about saturating a market. And if we do, we'll be set for a long time. It doesn't even matter. So, but if we look at that on a bigger picture, okay, and this is like, this will be it, okay? We're raising the bar so level, and we're saturating the market with all these people that are really serving at a high level, right? And you're going to have those dishonest people that suck. Like, they're going to mess up everything. But if we can somehow get more good people doing better things, like, I felt like I was a really good contractor. I was an honest guy. I had integrity. But I could never win. And I was working so hard. But if you took a guy like me, and you made me successful, and you made me feel like, man, for once, I didn't fucking fall on my face and fail again. I didn't go to my family and ask for money. I didn't fucking... Alright. Excuse me. Whew. Sorry, fellas. So, I understand that this is a little bit more important than me than maybe you guys at this point, so I apologize. But if you think about if you do that, and I've been getting to this point for a long time, we're talking about things as big as, like, and I can't believe, like, okay. Whew. Bear with me. I'm going to give you guys this uncut just because I'll explain why later. But if you could raise the bar that high, and we could flood these territories. You could literally raise the bar of an entire industry, like an entire industry where people are no longer like, fucking contractors suck. Like, these guys, you walk into a job, and the customer's like, what the fuck? Like, you guys gonna fuck us up? You know, all this shit that you're dealing with. And like, yeah, there's a lot of customers that aren't like that. But so many are. They're like, you know, and that's a whole rap. You know, like, how many contractors walk in and you're already behind the 8 ball? So now my services aren't worth as much because, but, you know, oh yeah, do you work on Saturdays? Oh yeah, because we're not even people, because I have a master's in engineering, dude. I could be making more money than you, okay? Do you want to work on Saturday? No, all right? Well, and you're going to look at me because I'm going to price a job? You're not going to go to your mechanic and say, oh, you charged me $2 for this thing. Give me a break. No, we're going to charge you for every single speck of sand on that sandpaper. And you know what? We're going to do that, right? But we're going to deliver a service that you have never seen before. And you're going to have people, a lot more people, delivering that kind of service because all we're going to do is give them the system. All we have to do is build it, like, once. And if the market gets saturated, 10 years, whenever that is, if that could ever happen, we're just going to be innovating at that point. I mean, we don't have to worry about that. So, I just real quick, I know I'm like way over time here. you know, when they give you, when I go to these seminars, they always say you gotta talk for 90 minutes. And I spent so much money, and that's one of the reasons I've had such financial difficulty with searching for all this stuff. Like, what am I gonna do? What's my life's goal? So, like, all you guys that are going through that, I know. I just found out earlier, and I dragged through shit for it. And now, hopefully, we can help each other not do that anymore. And just like, so, I just wanted to go through and just talk about you guys a little bit. And I know I said that thing, so I just want to say that, like, all you guys are really important to me. But like I said earlier, is that this isn't about friendship, okay? It's not. It's about bonding together to do something that's just so much bigger than us. It's crazy. But you know what? I hope you guys like it. Let me know what you think. I apologize. This is so long, but. Hopefully it's worth it. I mean, this is where I was at. I'm all over the place here. Look at this. So, okay. Guys, again, I apologize it's so late. I'll get this out as soon as I can. Let me know. And honestly, guys, seriously, like, even with just my system that I built with WoW, me and Jay, we're going to kill it. I mean, we're going to be fine. So, if you think this, honestly, if you think this is something that we can't make work, or maybe there's parts we can, parts we can't, I don't know. Maybe the market's flooded already. My research is just, you know. But I'm talking to people that have talking to a lot of contractors on an everyday level. So I think it feels so right, but I don't know. So just be honest, but just know that I have a lot of emotion in this, and I would rather you tell me the truth about what your honest opinion is, because that's how we're gonna get to be better. And if it's not going to work, we'll let it go. That's fine. It wasn't meant to be. I'm okay with that. I'll be fine. So just be honest. And, yeah, let's see where we are. What day is it? February 19th. It's 6 months after 6 days of my mom's birthday. 12:39. If you guys haven't noticed, this is it's important to me for a lot of reasons, but if this is a good idea, remember this day, because this is a big day. All right? I have not slept in days, but I love it. I love every second of it. I love, like, getting up and, like, I'm gonna write that. This happened at like 2:30 in the morning. Like, I can't sleep. I gotta do it. So yeah, that's it.